Welcome to the UK Made Easy podcast, where we help aspiring international medical graduates like yourself achieve their dreams of passing their PLAB 2 and practicing medicine in the UK. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the UK Made Easy podcast. My name is Saif, and in this episode, I'm going to talk about one of the questions that we get asked frequently in our sessions with doctors preparing for PLAB 2. That question is, what happens if I miss a really big part in data gathering? Now, obviously, in a situation like an OSCE examination or a PLAB 2 examination, what happens that most of the time, you know all the information that you should be asking about, you know all the questions, you've trained enough for data gathering and what have you, but because you are anxious, you want to get your marks and you want to impress your examiner, sometimes it does happen, the odd moment comes when you forget something really big. Now, before I go into this, I need to remind you that we carry out sessions where we invite doctors to come on board and do some practice with us, and we also provide recordings for some sessions that we've had. So if you'd like to check this out, please head over to our website at www.ukmadeeasy.net. Now, back to the point. We're talking about what happens if we miss a big part or a big question in data gathering. Now, obviously, you've got one of two options. Either you miss it out and you continue with your consultation, or you ask at that point when you remembered that you missed that question. Now, some important points that I want you to think about if you are put in a situation like that. Now, the first thing is that this is not a memory test. Like, you're not supposed to kind of what many of the doctors unfortunately do, where they have a script and they memorize the script and they go question by question. It's definitely recommended to have some sort of organization, especially when it comes to your data gathering. But by the end of the day, there might be a chance where you miss a big point. Now, at this point, like I said, you've got two options, but you really need to weigh things out. For example, say that we're talking about a patient who's come and they're complaining of some sort of diarrhea, right? And you've asked about the diarrhea, you've investigated, and you've probed, so you know how many days they've got the diarrhea, right? You know if they have any other symptoms, you know how many times they go per day, right? And you know the consistency and what have you, but you forgot to ask if they have blood in their diarrhea. Now, obviously, this is a very important question because it can make a change to your complete diagnosis and your investigation and what have you. So this is something that, according to our judgment, you shouldn't miss. Even if you miss, this is a question where you would want to come back to it. But it's all about how you say it, right? So in our practice, what we face is that sometimes I'm going through the scenario with the doctor, right? And they forget to ask a question, and then they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the question back when I was asking about the diarrhea, and I need to know, do you have any sort of bloody diarrhea," right? It comes across as something very odd. It comes across as if you are admitting that you've made a terrible mistake, right? And you're trying to be apologetic about what you did. Now, what you want to do is make it a natural part of the conversation. Do not call specific attention to the fact that you've done a mistake, right? So what you can simply say, "Oh, I'm very sorry, I should have asked you about this, but when you talk about diarrhea, did you happen to notice any blood into your diarrhea?" And then the patient says yes or no, and then you take it from there. What I'm trying to say here is, do not try to make your mistakes stand out. It's okay if you forgot something, right? But use your judgment whether you want to skip that question altogether or you want to come back to it, right? It's not gonna affect your marks as long as it's not big. But on the other hand, if it's a big question that you've missed, then even if you come back to it, and even if it hurts your organization a little bit, right? If you lose a mark or two for organization, it's better than you use 6 or 7 or 8 marks because you have not been a safe doctor, right? So use your judgment. And again, the magic word, do a lot of practice, right? So you can get an idea of how it feels like, because there will come a time when you actually forget an important question. It happened to all of us. It's okay. It's not going to be the end of the world. That I promise you. I hope you've managed to get some benefit from listening to this episode. If you have any questions or if you have any topics that you would like us to discuss in future episodes, please head to our Facebook page or our Telegram group and leave your questions there. I'll see you in a future episode.